They say the most powerful thing in the world isn't money, it's not talent, it's not even luck, it's mindset. Your mindset shapes how you see problems and how you see yourself. Two people can face the same storm. One breaks, the other builds. The difference isn't the storm, it's the story in their mind. Because life changes only when your mind does. Now, let me tell you a story about a man who spent his life building for others until he finally learned to build himself. There was once a carpenter named Jona. For 25 years, he built houses for a wealthy man. Every house was perfect, strong walls, straight edges, clean work. But Jona's own home was falling apart. The roof leaked when it rained. The walls were weak. The floor creaked beneath his feet. People often asked, "Jona, why don't you fix your house?" He'd smile sadly and say, I can build for others, but not for myself." And he meant it. He truly believed he didn't have what it took. One afternoon, while Jona was working, the wealthy man came to visit. He stood for a while, watching Jona cut and measure. Then he said, "You've built me so many fine houses over the years." Jona smiled. "Yes, quite a few. But tell me," the man asked, "why haven't you ever built one for yourself?" Jona laughed quietly. "Me? I don't have what it takes for that. What do you mean?" "I don't have money," Jona said. "I don't have luck. I just build. That's all I know." The man nodded slowly. "Who told you that story?" Jona looked confused. "It's not a story. It's my life." The man smiled gently. "No, Jona. It's the story you've chosen to believe." Jona didn't reply. He just went back to work quietly. Weeks later, the wealthy man returned. He said, "Jona, I'm retiring soon. I want you to build me one last house, the best you've ever built. Build it with your heart." Jona nodded politely, but inside, he thought, "Why should I? It'll never be mine." So he built the house, but with little care. He used cheaper wood. He skipped steps. He painted over cracks instead of fixing them. "Good enough," he whispered. When it was done, the house looked beautiful on the outside. When the wealthy man came to see it, he walked through slowly, touching the walls, feeling the wood, nodding quietly. Then he turned to Jona and handed him a small key. "This house," he said softly, "is for you." Jona blinked. "For me?" "Yes," the man smiled. "It's my gift to you for all the years you've built for others." Jona froze. He looked around the house at the weak joints, the uneven doors, the cracks he'd hidden, and his heart sank. He whispered, "I didn't build it right." The man looked at him gently and said, "You built it the way you believed you deserved. Every house you built for me was perfect because you believed I was worth the best. But when it came to yourself, you didn't think you were." He placed a hand on Jona's shoulder. "Never forget, Jona, your life is built the same way. Whatever you believe about yourself, that's what you build." Then he walked away. That night, rain poured from the sky. Water leaked through the roof, dripping onto the floor. Jona sat in silence, watching the drops fall into small puddles. He thought about every excuse he'd ever made. "I'm not smart enough. I don't have time. I'll never be lucky." He realized those weren't facts. They were bricks, walls he had built around himself. He whispered, "All my life, I built for others, but I never built for me." The next morning, an old traveler passed by. He saw Jona sitting outside the half-broken house. "You built this?" the traveler asked. "Yes," Jona said quietly. "It's mine now. It looks strong, the traveler said. It isn't, Jona replied. I built it wrong. The traveler nodded slowly. Then, build it again. Jona shook his head. I'm too old. The traveler smiled gently. No one's too old to rebuild what's broken, especially if that thing is your mind. He handed Jona a small wooden cube. On it were carved the words, "The mind is the house. Build it well." Before Jona could reply, the traveler was already walking away. From that day, Jona began to rebuild. He fixed the roof, he repaired the walls, he painted every corner with care, and with every swing of the hammer he whispered, I can, I will, I deserve better. Days turned to weeks, and the house slowly transformed. As the house changed, so did Jona. He walked taller, he spoke with hope, he smiled again. People started noticing. Jona, your work looks different now, and it did. Because Jona was different. He had finally changed the one thing that had been broken all along, his mindset. Months later, the wealthy man returned. He stopped at the gate, staring in awe. The house stood tall, solid, and beautiful. He smiled and said, You rebuilt it. Jona nodded. Yes, and myself. The man's eyes softened. That's what I hoped for. Sometimes life makes us live inside what we've built, so we finally learn to build better. He placed a hand on Jona's shoulder. Now you understand, my friend. Nothing changes around you until something changes within you. We're all carpenters. Every thought, every belief, every decision is a nail, a brick, a beam. If your life feels weak, don't just patch the walls. Rebuild the foundation, your mindset. Because once your mind changes, everything else follows. Change your mindset and watch your whole life transform.